I want to protect as many unborn babies as possible. I also think we have to win the trust back of the American people. And one of the ways to do that is to be the truly pro-family party. I think we are. We've got to carry that message forward and actually enact some public policy to that effect.
Is birth control part of that policy, empowering women to be able to make those decisions before they get pregnant?
Look, obviously people need to be able to make those decisions. I don't think that I know any Republican, at least not a Republican with a brain, that's trying to take those rights away from people. But I think it goes deeper than that.
I mean, I could provide a list for you if you wanted.
Well, okay, not anybody I talk to, Jake.
Not anybody I talk to, not anybody I'd like you to bring up. And can we please move on to something else? Because I'd like to pretend that that's not a thing my party is trying to do. He can't remember any Republican that's against the right to birth control. I don't know. Here's a vote where 195 House Republicans voted against codifying the right to contraception. Only 8 voted for it. So there's a lot of names there. You could look into it. A lot of right-wing pundits explaining why people should not have an access to birth control. It's crazy. I will grant you that. Demonizing IVF and surrogacy, but like you guys are all doing that. You get that, right? You just find it inconvenient to have it pointed out. And so look, that is going on. We're going to talk more about it, but I also want to let people know that the extremism comes in multiple forms, not just this brewing war against the pill. But in Texas, we had good news last week where a Texas judge stepped in and allowed emergency authorization for a woman to get an abortion, which is obviously outlawed in Texas now, although there are supposed to be these exceptions. Well, it was granted, and now the Supreme Court has stepped in to put it on hold. And remember, every day that this non-viable pregnancy continues is a risk to the reproductive future and life of Kate Cox. But they don't care, okay? Because they're radicals, because they're extremists. We're gonna get into more of this as well as some other stuff going on in the area, but Francesca, what do you think?
Yeah, no, F you forever, JD Vance, F you all the Republican Party, the entire Republican Party, the Texans. Like, you do not care about families. You hate families. These are people who seek abortions, who number one, maybe already have kids, but number two, want to have a healthy baby and are being denied life-saving care. And yes, uterus and reproductive saving care. Because what? Because you want to control women's bodies. Because you want to say when and how they should be legislated against. Because you believe in a tiny, tiny government for corporations and a massive one when it comes to uteruses. That's it. And you're so cowardly. And you want to, for you, family values are watching a mother give birth to a child that will die in her arms and watching her give birth, maybe prematurely, to a baby struggling for air, and there's nothing they can do about it. And then that mom can't have any more kids because she has been rendered sterile because of this pregnancy. That is what they believe in. So miss me with family values forever and ever and ever. They have no leg to stand on. John, this is why I feel like, and I haven't seen, I'm more mad at Democrats. Where's our family values? Where are we standing up for this? Where's Biden's plan? You know, we're being fear-mongered, obviously, that like, oh, what about reproductive rights? Yeah, what about reproductive rights? They've been taken away. So what's your plan? What's your vision? How are you speaking to the suburban women who are jumping ship off your campaign and not gonna vote for you? What are you doing about it?
Yeah, and the scenario that you sketched out is not hypothetical. It is literally the stakes in this particular Kate with Cox. This is a belief that she could be rendered incapable of becoming pregnant again in the future if this non-viable pregnancy is not ended. They know that. All the Republicans know that, and they don't care. She, by the way, has said that she never previously ever thought that she ever would and wouldn't want to get an abortion. She has to in this case. She has 2 kids already. They don't care. They're not pro-family, they're pro-birth, even if that birth isn't viable and leaves the woman scarred or maybe dead as a result of it. They want to force you to do a thing. They're not trying to craft a family. They're trying to make sure that you have to do what they say you have to do, and that's it. And if you choose to go in a different direction, they are willing to go in very radical directions. So in Missouri right now, they think that they're going to be able to pass a new law further criminalizing abortion. In this particular case, it would be to apply homicide laws on behalf of a victim who is an unborn child at every stage of development. And I want to be very clear what they mean there. They mean charging the mom with murder. That is literally what they're saying. And I just want to be very clear about that so that someday when JD Vance tells a journalist, I mean, nobody on our side would ever do anything like that, you're lying. You know that. That's what your pundits are calling for. That's what your politicians are trying to pass. That's what's going on right now. This is not us doing some sort of hypothetical slippery slope for 8 years from now for our political gain. That's what they're debating in Missouri right now. Francesca.
Yeah. No, and let's keep going, obviously, keep going to criminalize male masturbation because, you know, you're expelling the seed and that really is a life. Let's keep going, right? But also it's beyond abortion rights and protections and reproductive rights, right? It is things like no fault divorce. That is also now being contested. You know, this is again the Steven Crowder line of like, so she can just divorce me because I'm an 8-year-old in a 40-year-old body, you know, like that. This is all about control of women because it is part of an ideology that says, you know, Western civilization, Nazi stuff, it depends on strong men to control women, to control women's bodies. Let's put it all, let's undo any civil rights for women. Let's undo it all. And then what? And then we'll have, you know, again, a fascist nation that controls everybody except for the white property owning man. I'm doing this because he's definitely wearing a hood. Like, it's so scary to me. Like this is, and it's happening, man. And it's happening. And so again, I feel like, what are we doing about it, you know? And John, I don't know. You know, I do feel like I know. You know, I was on the streets after and when Trump got elected, you saw palpably a movement, an intergenerational, multiracial, interfaith movement of people who knew what someone like Trump would mean for our basic rights. And this was primary in all of them.
Yeah, I am hoping.
Where's that movement, man? We need it back.
I'm hoping this year. I mean, look, I understand a lot of people have been driven in really desperate circumstances. It is difficult to keep your head above water economically. There's many reasons that is the system that has been set up. And one of the reasons is it is much harder to be out there doing the sort of direct actions that you're talking about when you're trying to pay your ever increasing rent.
Sure.
So that is the gift that keeps on giving for the people who want to maintain the status quo.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.